Britney Spears' father is ready to speak up for himself after Britney has been trashing him, not only on social media, but also she did it in court during the infamous conservatorship hearing last summer.
And by the way, about a year ago, almost to the day.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. But you remember Britney said a lot of things about her father, about things that she claims he forced her to do under the conservatorship that she didn't want to do. And he was quiet that day in court. But now, as Britney and her attorney, Matthew Rosengart, are talking about suing Jamie, Jamie now wants to...
let me just say, not just suing Jamie. The conservatorship has not fully wound down because Matt Rosengart is saying there was malfeasance on Jamie's part, and has already really tried hard to say, I want him to sit under oath and take a deposition where I can talk to him about all these things. And remember, he even said, I'll fly to Louisiana. I'll go to Kentwood if that's where he is. But he says that, Rosengart says that Jamie's been dodging a depo, and now Jamie is saying Britney's doing the exact same thing.
Right.
So then what? It comes down to the judge making a decision? This feels like this has been going on for months and months between these two, just both sides trying to stand their ground. So a judge has to step in and say, okay, look, I mean,
you sit, and here's where and when it's going to happen.
And here's when, and then the other side says, okay, we object to this. I mean, I can't see this happening in, 6 months at the earliest?
So Jamie is demanding that Britney
sit for a deposition.
But
when you read the document, there's something weird about it, because they spend a lot of time talking about that Britney said things about him on social media and has a memoir that's coming up, then she's going to be trashing him there too. I don't think any of that's relevant to making her sit for a deposition. What is relevant is that Britney is alleging, again, malfeasance and has addressed some of the things that Jamie said that Jamie's allegedly done. And to defend himself, I think he could get her to sit for things related to the conservatorship and his job in the conservatorship, but not what she says on social media, because that's not what this is about.
And I would imagine that's Matt Rosengart's concern, is that if Britney sits for this deposition and it becomes a free-for-all, asking her all sorts of things.
Well, they can object to questions. But as it relates to the allegations made about Jamie that relate to the conservatorship, that would seem to be fair game, but not just because she trashes him on social media, because that has nothing to do with the conservatorship.
But a lot of the social media trashing had to do during the time of the conservatorship, though, right? Like during Vegas and everything like that, and when she was younger and she couldn't sip alcohol and she could only work and she didn't want to go on tour.
Those are the things that she's been complaining about.
Couldn't that be the stuff?
You're right. I mean, some of it does align. I think the stuff that happened as a child, I don't think is going to relate. This has to do with 13 years of a conservatorship where Matt Rosengart is alleging that Jamie did inappropriate things. So anything in that conservatorship, there may have been social media comments that Britney made or posts that Britney made that relate to it, but it all has to tie in to the allegations made against Jamie.
KB in New York, 13 years of conservatorship. There's probably a lot of misunderstandings, a lot of things that probably happened that one or two parties just didn't jive off of. So there's going to be a lot of unpacking. I see it's getting a lot uglier before it gets better. And probably looking at another Johnny Depp, Amber Heard type situation as far as like the media and everything around it.
Yeah. Okay. I'm going to ask you and Brad a question. Do you think there is any possibility that Britney and Jamie bury the hatchet in years to come?
I think there's a possibility.
I honestly, I think I'd be stunned.
I would be stunned, but there's a possibility, sure.
But what has to happen? I mean, this is going to be years and years of legal battles, and then there's going to be anger over the legal battles.
Sure.
I mean, Jamie's in poor health. I don't know. I don't see it happening.
Yeah, I think that's part of it, Brad, that Jamie's in poor health. When things like that happen and people start to get older, sometimes
people soften.
People soften, and they're willing to, bury the hatchet.
Yeah,
possibly. I could see that happening sooner than Johnny Depp and Amber Heard getting back together, which people have been saying that maybe that could happen.
Let me put it in terms I think you might understand.
Oh, boy.
The Eagles got back together. Right?
All right, maybe. I mean, they got back together because, well, anyway.
Nonetheless.